Some of you may be thinking about starting your own business. That's a great idea. Don't lose sight of that. There are good rewards when you own your own business. However, do go into it with the realization that being your own boss ultimately means a lot of work in order to build and to sustain your business. Regardless, it's yours. As long as you pay your bills, obey the law, and pay your taxes, it should stay yours, and you can enjoy having only your customers to answer to. As your text tells you, not only did many of our well-known large businesses of today start out as a small business, such as in a garage, but small business startups have been on the rise quite a bit lately. Let's look at some of the perks. You do get to be your own boss, though you do have to keep your customers happy. You can establish personal relationships with your customers and with your employees. You can make all the decisions yourself. You can make changes you'd like without asking somebody's permission. You may even realize that you need to make some changes based on those relationships with your customers. Being independent, you may not have to be tied to a clock. Within the confines of safety and the law, you can have any atmosphere you want at the office. If you decide you want to have a pep rally with your employees to start every morning off, that's up to you. Okay, how about the downside? Sure, you're the boss, and you can make all the decisions yourself, but that means the weight of the business is on your shoulders. If it fails, you're out of business, and your employees may be out of work. And as the text tells us, more than half of small businesses fail within the first 5 years. You have to find customers before you can do business with them. Many times a small business owner can spend up to 95% of his or her time trying to develop that client base, depending upon the product or the service. That means no money coming in, but plenty of money going out. Ah, yes, and being independent, not being tied to a clock. I had a cousin who decided to start a restaurant business. He and his wife would work making some great recipes. They had a great atmosphere. He told me he would spend about 7 days a week, 12 to 14 hours a day, every day, never taking any vacation to do it. Another restaurant owner told me, I might point out he did this with a beer in his hand, showing he did at least enjoy life to some degree, that owning a restaurant was probably the hardest thing that he'd ever done. Buddy, can you spare a dime? Try to get financing when you're a new business. Banks aren't always amenable to lending a startup capital to get going. So is it worth it? Well, it really depends on your personality and your own aspirations. I've known a lot of people who have taken the leap. Some didn't make it, and they regretted it, and they regretted ever trying because of the stress and the financial strain it put on them and their family. But I've known plenty of others who did make it. They acknowledge it's a lot of hard work, but they love what they do, and they talk fondly of all the perks that I just talked about. One of the key elements to getting started is having a good business plan, as our text discusses. It's also important to have a good business model, something you'll become quite familiar with this term. These two elements will get a business off on the right foot and can help with obtaining that elusive financing. The Small Business Administration is there to help too. Check out their website at www.sba.gov. They have many useful videos, and they can provide a great deal of helpful information, which they have on their site. What about the idea of starting a franchise? Well, some of the same perks of having your own business are still there, but you're part of a bigger, more established organization. You still need to come up with money to invest, but your chance of success is good due to the superstructure that's over you. Normally, the franchise has a recognized name, will attract clients, it offers training and guidance, it may handle the marketing and advertising for you, and it probably has a compensation and benefit structure in place already. So what's the downside? Well, the biggest seems to be that you don't have the same autonomy as having your own independent business. There are policies and procedures established by the franchisor that you have to follow. Now, that's not usually a bad thing, and it's usually not only good for you, but good for your employees. But it's not like setting your own rules in your own business. Their rules may cover things like how the business operates, how it makes its products, provides its services, and how the building looks and the employees dress. Think of some of the franchises you know of and have been in. People look the same, act the same, and provide the same service in just about each one of them. So is it worth it? Seems most franchisees think so. However, lawsuits between franchisors and franchisees have been on the rise. The bottom line seems to be to do your homework on looking into the franchise before you get started. Be sure it's a business that you like. Understand the contract thoroughly, and be sure it's something that you want to do. How about working for a small business or a franchise? Is that something you'd enjoy? Well, again, that depends on you. Working in a small business is like working for a sole proprietor, as we talked about last week. Working for a franchisee is a bit of a combo platter. You have somewhat the same situation of working for a sole proprietor, but yet have a larger, usually corporate structure over that operation guiding its activities. It really comes down to the type of environment you'd like to work in, as well as where the career that you've chosen leads you.